MLB, you're slipping again. Cole Sports presents on the Daily. Well, happy Tuesday, VIP. Cole Johnson's live in a living color on Daily. It's on tap, presented by Cole Sports. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell to get any and all updates emanated from this channel, as this show comes at you Monday through Friday. So be in the know whether you're in your house, your workplace, your church, or wherever you congregate amongst people. Remember, subscribe to On the Daily, presented by Cole Sports. Well, it is Tuesday. You know how we get down on Tuesday, and we're going to get down the same way this Tuesday. So this story came across my desk earlier this morning, and I couldn't believe my eyes because I thought Major League Baseball has taken that turn, but it hasn't. And I'll talk about this because I would say the former general manager of the Mets, Jared Porter, deserves this, but no. I would say the New York Mets deserves this, but no. I would say the Arizona Diamondbacks deserve this, but no. I would say the Chicago Cubs deserve this, but no. Major League Baseball, you get the distinction of being this week's Tone Deaf. All right, let's set the stage. So about, I would say, mid-December, maybe a little bit before mid-December, Jared Porter, who was assistant general manager for the Arizona Diamondbacks, he was hired on to be the GM for the Mets, and this was their turn and time to shine, to get back to that luster that they had, you know, when they were the Miracle Mets in 1969 and when they were the star-studded team in 1986. This was supposed to be the move to put them further, I should say closer, to prominence again. Prominence that they've been wanting to seek for God knows how long, probably ever since they were a team almost 60 years ago. But this was a bright spot for the team. Then ESPN Monday evening talked of some leak about Jared Porter, their GM, sliding in DMs to female reporters. Yeah, and let me give you a good description of this. So Porter was asked about this, and he admitted, yes, he admitted to sending lewd and uninvited text messages plus images to women reporters way back in 2016. You heard me correctly. But for those who didn't, the former GM of the Mets, Jared Porter, admitted to sending lewd and uninvited text messages plus images to women reporters way back in 2016. And at the time, he was not with the Mets. He wasn't with the Diamondbacks. No, he was with the Chicago Cubs. Yes, the same year that they got off the schneid and won their first World Series in 108 years. The very same year, the very same team. Yeah. So when the new Mets owner, Steve Cohen, caught wind of this, he got to Twitter. He got to Twitter real fast. And the Twitter fingers typed the following. Quote, "We have terminated Jared Porter this morning. In my initial press conference, I spoke about the importance of integrity, and I meant it. There should be zero tolerance for this type of behavior." Close quote. You know, there is this thing. What do employers do when they want to make sure that things are on the up and up with an employee or a future employee or a prospective employee? I have a hard time thinking about. Oh yeah, background checks. So you mean to tell me you did not background check this guy? That this guy went unchecked doing this type of behavior for now almost 5 years. 5 years. 5 years. And he was with the Cubs then. Then in 2017, he was on the Diamondbacks. He was there for the next 4 years. Nothing from anybody then. And it takes him being a GM with the Mets for all of this to happen. 37 days, general manager of the Mets, and now he gets fired. Zero tolerance. Zero tolerance. Really, really, Cohen.
You've got to be joking me.
I mean, it looks more and more like the good old boys club still exists. And I'm not just targeting my ire toward you and your team. No, it's not the Mets, or not just the Mets. It's the Cubs too. It's the Diamondbacks as well. Heck, you could probably even include the other 27 teams, because you got to do your due diligence. What is the point of having a guy in your team and you rave about him and he turns out to be a jerk like this guy was? The dude is a jerk and adult. And please, toxic sports fan, don't come to me saying, well, the women should have spoken up sooner. Why did it take all this long to say something? Obviously, it must not have bothered them. Shut up. If the words that you're not going to say to those women reporters who received that human elephant trunk of Jared Porter's in their DMs and text messages, if it's not going to be, you know what? I'm so sorry you had to endure somebody who simply did not know any decency as to how to treat a woman, then don't say a single solitary thing to them. Don't open your mouth. Don't even breathe on them. Just be quiet and take your poison elsewhere. And you thought baseball was getting its act together. Heck, I even thought they were getting their act together, because it wasn't a couple of months ago where the owner of the Marlins, Derek Jeter, he had the presence of mind and the cojones to hire a GM who was a woman, in Kim Ng. The only place I have seen women in sports have been either the few sprinkling of owners, and most of them are the NFL, executive assistants, or reporters, if for the exception of the WNBA. Besides those entities, you don't see women in sports all that much. So when the few who are in the industry get mistreated by a sports executive, such as how Jared Porter mistreated these women, it is appalling that it took 5 years for this to be eradicated. And Jared Porter is not 61. He's not 51. He's 41, which means he's an exennial. I mean, he's not even all the way a Gen Xer. So we can't even put those old men, they just don't know how to do it. Like how Jerry Jones, before he was 75, when he was caught slipping his hand underneath skirts of 20-year-old blondes in his luxury suite. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about a guy who looks pretty much like me and younger. Pretty much like me and younger. And you're abusing women in this fashion. That is inexcusable. It is implausible. It is utterly repugnant. So when the Cubs caught wind of this, they were like, well, yeah, it pretty much was like that because they insist that they were unaware of his actions, right? That this didn't happen under their watch and they didn't know about it until Monday. They're like, yeah, exactly, Cubs. See no evil, hear no evil, do no evil, right? Yeah, that's how you think. That's how you all get down. It is absolutely poisonous to have sexual to have this sexually deviant human being exist. And you have one who's caught. God knows however many there are that still are in MLB front offices, NHL front offices, NFL front offices, or the NBA front offices doing the same thing. Only this guy got caught. It's lewd. It's out of bounds. It has no place on earth, let alone sports. And stop, all of you teams, stop saying, well, it wasn't us. We didn't know about this. You know that the culture is toxic. You know this. I'm a fan and I'm an analyst and I know it exists. So I know you do, being in the front offices of all these places. So stop turning a blind eye to sexism and sexual discrimination. Stop. It's 2021. We have to stop turning a blind eye to when a man acts ignorant toward a woman, because it not only makes them feel uncomfortable, it makes us look like idiots and fools. That's why MLB, you deserve this distinction that I call every Tuesday Tone Deaf. Now, if you want this shirt that you see right before your very eyes, the description box below has all the details as to how to get it, and you get it in many different styles. Now, if you think that I'm off base, that Major League Baseball does not have this sexism culture, that this is just something that's a figment of my imagination, or if you think, well, you know what, Cole, you're right, and this does need to stop. Also, if you're a woman who has been discriminated against, and you want to talk about it in some way, shape, form, or fashion, because I will provide a safe space zone for this particular issue in this particular video, please comment. I want to hear what you have to say. Like this video, share it throughout your social media, and your comments are gold to me. I appreciate them all. Don't forget, hit the notification bell and subscribe to this channel for any and all content that comes from here. From all of us here at Cole Sports, where we do not sexually abuse women in any way, shape, form, or fashion, I'm Cole Johnson, and this has been yet another installment of Cole Sports on the visual and on the daily.